thinking of them over there and you over here. And now you're thinking of them, wondering, are they going to call again? Are they going to text again? Is this or that going to happen again? Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In case you're new here, my name is Kim. This is Core Union. I want to talk a little bit today about using your 3D reality and the experiences that you have with anything and anyone to allow yourself to get even more clear of what it is that you actually want. Usually it's fairly obvious what's being reflected to you, but then sometimes it's just kind of out of the blue. It doesn't make sense. I also want to talk in this video, though, about something that I do see, and I believe that almost every single video on the subject is talking about this. But when, for example, when your specific person does come back, everybody gets hit with a little bit of their old assumption and they go back into the old story almost immediately. So I want to talk about this point in time of what happens to a lot of you guys. I also want to talk about what I think you should do before that does happen so you can maintain stability and just continue to persist in your end, regardless of what's happening in the 3D. So I know it's a little bit of a loaded thing. I want to make this short and sweet. Before I do get into this, please do like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. If you love my content, if you want me to be your coach, email me a short description to kim@coreunion.com, and I will reply back to you with my next available session after you've booked. You can do a 30-minute or a package. Most people do end up doing the package. I talked about in the past with my interior design business, which was a complete 3D experience to prove that manifestation was real. So I could basically become a coach. I didn't want to go to school for life coaching. I wanted to be more powerful, and I felt the calling so deep within me that I surrendered myself to it. And then I created something that I should not have ever been so successful with, and it became a huge success. Now, granted, I should have let it go when I had the opportunity. I literally had wanted to manifest once it reached a certain peak. I wanted to manifest selling it. I also toyed with the idea of people wanting to franchise it. I ended up having people offering me to do just those things. And I didn't take the offers because at that point I was so caught up with my ego and I was all worried about, well, what will happen with my clients and their orders? What's going to happen to my employees? And if somebody takes this over, it's not going to be with the same soul behind it. And those things were literally my manifestations to, get out of it, make the money that I wanted. But I chose not to do it out of fear and out of like putting everyone else's needs before mine. And then soon after that, the pandemic happened. So needless to say, it was all still a bridge, exactly how everything happened. And there were things that really sucked about it. But here I am, and I'm doing exactly what I was supposed to. And God basically just stepped in and say, okay, if you're not going to do this, I'm going to do it for you. And it happened. It happened perfectly. I remained in faith. I persisted. It was one of the biggest quote unquote tests of my faith. And no, I don't believe that we are tested, but we do have experiences where we're pretty much testing ourselves. I persisted through. I ended up manifesting literally the experience of everything that I wanted. And this is exactly what the purpose of that was. No matter what happened in my 3D, I didn't give up. I didn't give in. I didn't fall for the illusion. It was painful. It was scary, but I used all of the experiences that were happened to keep clear and keep reminding myself of my end, which was this. When I was wanting to manifest a certain lifestyle of making a certain amount of money and having amazing experiences with relationships with clients and things like that, I would get, like let's say a given month, I had hundreds of people's orders that I was keeping track of, and I had relationships with my clients, and they were really good relationships. I was trusted. I gave them a lot of value. They paid me a lot of money. All was good. I was putting out amazing designs. It was incredible. I was award winning. Every once in a while, I would get some little nutty buddy come in and try to make my life hell, and I wouldn't accept the money. And I would use the bad experiences to multiply the right clients and to multiply even more money coming in. Like if somebody pulled some sort of a thing where, I perceived losing, let's say $3,000 to $5,000, I would just be super thankful about that and say thank you because now I'm about to make $15,000 or $20,000. I would say thank you because now I'm going to be bringing in like 5 more amazing, happy clients who trust me and that we get along perfectly and we have fun together. I still do that even now. I literally had and I'm going to get to, don't worry, I'm going to get to the tip around like when your specific person comes back by the end of this video. But I do think that this is important, okay? Because you can't keep letting your 3D experience use you. You have to use the 3D. Somebody booked a session with me and I gave them the date of the session. One morning or afternoon after my sessions, I get an email. It was pretty rude from this client saying, refund me immediately. You didn't show up for our session today. And I was like, we don't have a session today. So I checked my schedule. I was like, it's our schedule. We're not even scheduled for a couple days yet. So I replied very quickly with that energy. I replied and I said, check your date and apologize because that was rude of you. But in any case, I sat with that for a minute and I'm like, this is not my client, just like I used to when I had the interior design business. I was like, I don't want to be your coach. Your energy is not in alignment with me. Now, could I have taken the time to see things differently and to maybe recreate a different experience with this person? Yes, but why would I? Why would I when I have so many amazing clients with amazing successes, when I'm transforming and changing people's lives and we love each other and like I'm not going to want to mess with this at all. This is not for me. That one experience just put me right into gratitude of the amazing clients that I do have. And then when I go into that, guess what happens? Immediately, I get all these amazing little love lambs coming in and booking sessions, and they're so incredibly sweet, right? And we're like going back and forth, and I can already tell we are going to have such a good working relationship, and I'm going to be empowering them, and their lives are going to be changing before me. So that one little like hiccup in the 3D, which wasn't even a hiccup, it didn't matter, and I didn't make it matter. Okay. I assigned for me, a very empowering meaning of just like, awesome. Let this remind you of what you do have and what you do want more of. And then it immediately multiplied that. Okay. The other thing now, what I want to talk about when it comes to like when you're doing your inner work. So everybody's in kind of different spaces and different timelines, and they're all different subcultures or collectives. So not every video can apply to everyone's particular kind of thing. Okay. So this is going to be for you guys. And by the way, if you're doing your inner work and you are persisting and you're in trust and you're in faith and you're just constantly pulling yourself back through repetition, pulling yourself back, pulling yourself back, pulling yourself back. Eventually, even if you haven't heard back from your specific person yet, like if you're still perceiving separation, you will hear back from your specific person. You guys will be together again. Okay. But before you get together again, that's what your end is, what happens to almost everybody, and I'm just being honest with you, and I'm trying to, like, I want you to expect the best. I don't want you to expect that you're going to have a hard time. But as a coach, it's important for me to tell you that if you do experience your old assumptions being manifested back, this is your moment to not go back into the 3D and to stay firmly planted in your end. Okay, so what it might look like, because again, this is a very common thing that I observe, that I've seen, and I've experienced it myself. Okay, and I can see that other coaches who talk about this too. But for some reason, you guys, understandably, you get in your emotions and you get stuck and then you forget the entire process. Oftentimes, what happens is, so you've been doing your inner work and you're so clear on knowing what your end is, being in a happy, stable, loving, blissful, exciting, passionate, easy, and flowing relationship with you and your person. You guys have gotten past everything. You trust each other now. You're healed enough. You don't have to be perfect. You can still be insecure with each other. But now, instead of pushing each other away or one running and one chasing and all this other BS, When you're insecure, you actually turn towards each other and you guys love each other through your triggers and you hold each other and you cry together and it is a beautiful thing. Okay, that is your end, or at least that would be something that I would want in a relationship. And then, okay, so now out of nowhere, suddenly it could either be an email, a phone call, or a text message. And you guys are now communicating, right? This is the moment because I know that it's very exciting. I know that it's very exciting. This is the exact moment that you need to stay in this energy space. When you were doing your inner work, you were imagining the presence of you guys living together, right? That was your end. That was your imagination. You were imagining living together, home life together, maybe having kids, or maybe just enjoying all of your pets together. So remember that, okay? And then in the 3D, the phone calls or the texts come in, and there's a very sometimes it might go right into deep love, which is amazing and wonderful. And sometimes, even when it goes right into the deep love, then there could be a moment that might happen where you'll get bits and pieces of your old worries and fears come up. If when the communication started back up, you stopped your dominant focus on this, the end in the relationship, and then you go back into the 3D where you're paying attention to separation, this is where a lot of people get tripped up. So I'm trying to warn you in advance not to expect it, but just to be strong and remain planted in your end in the relationship. So, for example, I'm spending all of my time in my end in the energy of the relationship of being loved, of waking up together, kissing each other, hugging each other, laughing together, dancing together, cuddling at night, snuggling on the sofa, watching TV, shopping together, going out for walks together, holding hands, making love, taking a shower together, cooking for each other, feeding each other, you name it, all of that wonderful stuff. If that's what my inner work has been in my imagination, that's where I stay. I stay in that energy. If I'm getting texts and then the communication is starting and I'm enjoying it and it's good and I'm feeling good and I'm feeling happy and I'm feeling secure, I'm not going to stop with remaining in this energy of trust of this, because this is my end. If I do basically end up experiencing something being said to me that is reminiscent of the old story and the old assumption, the old version of the experience, the old story in any way, shape, or form, I have to step back. And when it happens, yes, it's going to hurt. If you're human, you're most likely going to experience some emotions, and that's okay. But the biggest, most important thing is that you literally step back and you observe this and you say, this is okay. This is just my old assumption showing itself to me so I can decide, do I want to continue with this or here? And I am strongly suggesting to stay here. So, in other words, you're texting, you're calling, and now you're kind of going into the energy of thinking of them over there and you over here. And now you're thinking of them, wondering, are they going to call again? Are they going to text again? Is this or that going to happen again? How are they feeling? I feel like they're not ready yet. I feel like they might be still scared. I can sense their energy that they're not trusting me yet. They don't seem to care like they used to, or all of that stuff. These are all indicators that you are falling into the old story again. So this is your job to remind yourself to go back into your end and to stay there. So in other words, you don't go from doing your inner work, from being in the end in the relationship, to then meditating and imagining them calling you right back, texting you right back, saying these words, saying those words, feeling this when you said this and that, because then you fall into micromanaging the middle. This becomes toxic and draining. So you remain dominantly in the space and the energy of feeling the presence of togetherness, blissfulness, harmony, security, stability, the relationship. That's where you dominantly keep your energy. And then, yes, of course, you can imagine that, like you're in the 3D. If you start thinking that they're thinking about you, that they're desiring you, that you're wanting you, that they're thinking of, like every time you think about them, you want to realize that they're thinking about you too. So that's okay to do, but just don't get stuck in trying to micromanage the middle. I know that this video is going to be an eye opener for a lot of you guys. And remember that if you do fall for your old assumption again, can you please remind yourself that it's not like stop blaming anyone and anything outside of you and just go within, do whatever you need to do to nurture yourself and be compassionate with yourself, like be patient with yourself, let your body cry and remind yourself as you're crying, this is all working in our favor. You trust so deeply in your and you have complete blind faith. So get the tears out, get all of that stuff out, but don't keep falling then for your old assumption again. Get the feelings out, give yourself the love that you need. If you have some sort of a memory of anyone from your past that just naturally comes up, energetically imagine you getting to say what you have to say off your chest with them, and then imagine them truly and deeply apologizing. Also, by the way, if you have some guilt about anything that you may have done to harm someone else unintentionally, also give yourself, like you want to forgive yourself and you also want to see them forgiving you. Okay. So, anyway, I know for a fact that this helped many of you guys along this journey. Please do comment down below that you are going to remain in trust, that your end exists, and reach out to me if you need me. I love you so much. Have an amazing day. Bye.
Nothing can come, nothing can come, nothing can come between us.